What is good, Raider Nation? It's your boy Sanjeev back at it with another video. The Raiders have signed a linebacker, and I'm actually surprised with this one, man. The Raiders worked out Blake Martinez last week, and we've officially signed him. As you guys know, Denzel Perryman went down with an injury this past week, and the Raiders are in need of a linebacker. Perryman specifically had a concussion, and the Raiders at this point have been struggling at the linebacker position. In fact, earlier in my video, I mentioned how the Raiders on tape were not able to contain the tight ends or receivers down the vertical seam specifically. And the Raiders officially went out and signed Blake Martinez, and that should give the Raiders some help. The hope is that the Raiders could get better in coverage, and the hope is that Blake Martinez brings that to the Raiders. I'm not 100% sure if Blake Martinez is going to play this upcoming week against the Chiefs, or if he'll come after the bye week and come in with the Raiders. But I did want to go live just to kind of talk about it. I know generally speaking, I almost never go live, and I hope everybody can hear me. But generally I don't go live, but I am back home. I just got home a little while ago. As you guys know, over the past couple of weeks, I've been out of my home studio. So I had to go live, man. I had to go live to talk about this. Blake Martinez, I like the signing. To be 100% honest, guys, it's crazy because he was with the Packers for his first 4 seasons, and then after the Packers, he went to the Giants, and he was with Patrick Graham, and Patrick Graham really liked Blake Martinez. Like, Martinez is definitely a Patrick Graham guy, and we're going to talk about exactly how much this is going to benefit the Raiders. Again, I mentioned just a second ago earlier in the video that I posted. I talked a little bit about my reaction from watching the All-22 tape, and part of that reaction was the linebackers were really struggling in coverage, regardless of who it was, right? Denzel Perryman, Divine Diablo, even Jayon Brown was struggling in coverage, and I think Patrick Graham sees that as well. I think Patrick Graham sees that the Raiders linebackers are struggling in coverage, and I think for that reason, he went out and got Blake Martinez. For that reason, he went out and said, let's get the guy that over the course of his career has been very solid in coverage. He has he has almost 15 pass breakups. He has 4 interceptions. And he was ranked, I believe, according to Pro Football Focus, or maybe it was True Media or one of these other stat sites. He was ranked as one of the best coverage linebackers. I believe it was his second, third, and fourth season, which was in 2017, 18, and 19. In those 3 years with the Green Bay Packers, he was regarded as one of the best coverage linebackers. Even with Patrick Graham in 2020, he was pretty solid, and he really didn't play in 2021. He got hurt, I think, like week 2 or week 3. But in 2020, which was his last full season, he was still regarded as a pretty solid coverage linebacker. So I think for the Raiders, he's going to benefit us right away in his coverage abilities. A shout out to all you guys, man. Almost 200 you guys are already here. Big shout out to all of you guys. Let's get into some of these super chats, man. Shout out to you, Octavius. I gotta check your DM. I saw that you had DM me. I'm gonna get back to you. You said, well, he was complaining about our linebackers. And here we are, man. Here we are getting ourselves a linebacker. Cool Zay said, yes, another run stuffer. It's going to be interesting to see how much better our linebackers get as, he's a veteran at this point, right? He's been in the league for like 6-7 years. I'm excited for it, man. I'm really, really excited for it. I think Blake Martinez is going to bring a lot of coverage abilities to the Raiders. So I'm definitely excited about that. We got our first super chat of the day. Shout out to you, Octavius. We're going to get into that in just a second. The Raiders said, when don't you like something? That's hard, right? If you're getting better as a team, you can't dislike that, right? And that's my personal opinion. Carlos said, Sol Sanjit, do you think the Raiders need to draft a linebacker like Devin White in the first or a quarterback? Here's the thing. It feels up to me, and let's say we had a top 5 pick, I think you go quarterback, right? You get a top 5 pick once every 10 years, unless you're a trash team. And in my opinion, if you're the Raiders and you have a top 10 or top 5 pick, you get a quarterback, especially in this draft. Now, if you have a top 12 pick and the top 4 quarterbacks are off the board, you go with the best linebacker available, right? How much better are defenses that have guys like Darius Leonard or Fred Warner, more recently, even in the past, guys like Brian Urlacher and Ray Lewis. How much better are those defenses? And I know we're not going to get those type of players, but even getting a guy like Patrick Willis or Navarro Bowman, right? Even getting a guy that can have an impact for the Raiders. Devin White, another example, right? These guys are good, solid football players, and I feel like the Raiders don't have that guy that can make plays, right? And I get it. Some people are going to say, those guys may not be as good, but I don't think the Raiders linebackers are that good, right? I don't think Denzel Perryman's that good. And not specifically, against the run, he's a really good linebacker. But, I can show you guys 4 plays in which Denzel Perryman, just in this season, right? He hasn't even played that much this year. I can show you guys like 4 or 5 plays in which Denzel Perryman's getting beat in pass defense. Just this past week, he gave up like a 25-yard catch right down the seam, and he only played in like 10 or 11 snaps, right? So to give up that catch in like 1/7 of the snaps he was going to play is terrible, in my opinion. Octavia said, we need someone who is going to stop Kelce next week. How does Martinez match up? Here's the hard part, right? Is Blake Martinez fully ready to go? Is he fully ready to go in their day one and start for the Raiders? I think he can be, because I do think that when you look at a linebacker like Blake Martinez, he already knows the scheme and system. He already knows exactly what Patrick Graham expects out of an inside linebacker. At the same time, he also knows that when I put in Blake Martinez and I tell him the play call, he will know exactly how to line certain guys up. So he doesn't have to learn that scheme or system. He already knows it. On top of that, the only thing that I worry about is what type of physical shape is he in? Is he ready to go day one? Is he not? Is he going to go out there and hurt his knee? Is he going to go out there, take a hit and realize that he's not in shape? Right. That's the whole reason why preseason, training camp, all that stuff is so important. That's why guys start off slower and then kind of get better as the season kind of goes along. I think there's going to be a learning curve for Blake Martinez in that aspect, that his body may not be physically ready. But I do think he'll get ready pretty quickly, and I do think he's going to play this week. We need a guy to shut down Travis Kelce. Let's just be honest. Travis Kelce is the best tight end in the NFL. I used to say, Darren Waller's kind of up there. Kyle Pitts is kind of up there. There's no one close to Travis Kelce. Even George Kittle is not as good as Travis Kelce. Like, Kelce's just different. And maybe you can say it's the scheme he's in, it's the quarterback he's in. Kelce's different. He's going to come into this week and say, I want 10 catches, 100 yards, pick up 8 first downs, right? And we're going to need someone to stop that. So the hope is that Blake Martinez could be the guy to stop that. We'll obviously see what ends up happening. Shout out to you for the $16.16 super chat. Last time, I believe you left a $8.88 super chat. Don't quote me on that, but Los Banos Tire Shop said, if we play how we played yesterday, we have a good chance against KC Monday night. We need Renfrow back to be a full force in the game. And see, that's the thing, right? Is we absolutely have to have Hunter Renfrow back. I know he made some mistakes and some people are kind of down on Renfrow a little bit. But let's be honest, Hunter Renfrow is one of the Raiders' best players. He's especially on the offense side of the ball. He's probably like our 4th or 5th best player, which is still, that's still super high. That means he's going to come in and make a couple of plays. And the fact that it's on Monday night, that gives him that one extra day to potentially pass the concussion protocol. I think it's by Friday you have to know which guys, or you have to report which guys are playing or which guys are not. I know some people get listed as like questionable or doubtful. But generally speaking, we know which guys you're going to play, right? If you don't practice Friday, you're not going to play. In this case, we'll have a Saturday walkthrough likely, right? And which could also mean that on Saturday, that extra day could be the day where we say this guy's passed the concussion protocol, or, his hips feeling better, or whatever it may be, right? We need Hunter Renfrow. And of course, Blake Martinez, I think, would be a solid person to have in there. The best case scenario would be that Denzel Perryman can play, but Denzel Perryman's not going to shut down. He's not going to shut down Travis Kelce, right? That's just a fact, right? Denzel Perryman isn't there in coverage. I think the guy that gives us the best chance at the linebacker would be Jayon Brown. After him, I think it would be Divine Diablo. But more so than that, let's put some safeties on him. Let's rotate Trayvon Merrick and Daron Harmon. If there's one guy that I think could stop Travis Kelce, it would be Daron Harmon, man. I think he's that savvy veteran that may be able to get one or two pass breakups. He may just know exactly where to align to shut down Kelce. And let's bracket Kelce as well, right? We'll see what Patrick Graham ends up doing. I have 100% confidence and trust in Patrick Graham. You know what's crazy is just last week people were saying let's get rid of Patrick Graham, let's get rid of Josh McDaniels, and it's crazy what a win can do, right? Because now people are saying like the complete opposite of both guys. So it's gonna be very interesting. A shout out to you, Carlos, for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Dirty Style said Perryman will be missed. His instinct is key. He sniffs out the run better than most, and that is fact. I definitely agree with you on that. There's not a whole lot of linebackers like Denzel Perryman when it comes to run defense. I think he's just different in that aspect. Now, don't get me wrong. I think finding a run defending linebacker is much easier than finding a guy that forces turnovers, a guy that picks off passes, and a guy that does some things from the coverage perspective. But I still think Denzel Perryman's a solid player. Now we'll see exactly what happens as the season kind of progresses. Like, what if Blake Martinez can do what a guy like Denzel Perryman has done? And I don't expect him to be honest with you guys. I don't think Denzel Perryman Blake Martinez is anywhere near Denzel Perryman in terms of run D. I think Blake Martinez is going to have a better. I think he's going to have more success in pass coverage. I don't know why, but signing Blake Martinez this week almost seems like the Raiders kind of had this planned a little bit, right? Because they brought him in last week, right? Not this week, and they ended up not signing him last week, which means he could have went somewhere else and signed, right? Instead, they waited a week, and he ended up signing with the Raiders. Jeff Road makes a great point. He said Luke Masterson. I think I might have said Masterson's like a veteran or something in a past video, which was a major mistake. I don't know what I was thinking. I believe Luke Masterson's a rookie, which is crazy to think that between him and Darian Butler, we have some young linebackers on this roster now. Is Masterson ready to go, right? I don't know. I don't know if Masterson's ready to go, but I personally would not trust Luke Masterson to cover Travis Kelce. Now, I will say this. If you want your guys to get better, if you want your guys to step up, if you want your coverage guys to get better, just overall in their development, you line them up against Travis Kelce and you say, go shut him down. Go cover him and let's see what you can do, young fella, right? That's what you would need to do with a young guy for him to develop. Unfortunately for the Raiders, we need to win this game. The Raiders have to go out and actually have some success against Travis Kelce, which means we can't expect a guy to start developing and get those reps against Kelce. We just can't do it, right? So unfortunately, unless Masterson has shown the ability to shut down guys like Waller, line up against Renfrow and win a couple times every now and then, I don't think Patrick Graham and Josh McDaniels are going to trust to put Masterson into the game. I'm not 100% sure how much he's played. Thomas and Masterson needs more playing time. I don't know if I disagree with that. I just don't know if he's ready to do that today, right? I just don't know. Either way, man, I'm excited. I think the Blake Martinez pickup is a very solid pickup. I think he's going to be one of those guys that's going to come in and definitely impress us. Truth be told, man, our biggest pickups this offseason have been guys like Daron Harmon. Right? Harmon's been a major pickup, and we picked him up, right? You can even look at a guy like Bilal Nichols. I think Nichols did some good things this past week. On the offensive side, you can look at Matt Collins. Matt Collins has been great on offense, but even better on special teams. And I think Blake Martinez can kind of add to that, right? He can kind of be that next guy for the Raiders that can come in and make some plays. We need some game-changing plays. We beat the Denver Broncos because the defense made those plays. Max Crosby got the sack when it mattered. Daron Harmon got the fumble forced, and Amik returned it when it mattered. When Russell Wilson was down by 2 possessions and he had 6-7 minutes left and he needed to go downfield to make it a 1-possession game, the defense stepped up. The defense got it done, right? When it mattered, the Raiders stepped up, and specifically the defense stepped up. And, of course, the offense did as well, right? Not taking anything away from them. But against the Kansas City Chiefs, this defense is going to have to step up and get it done, right? Octavius Prescott said Jeff Heath almost pick 6. That's interesting. Let's get into the next super chat as well. Yee said, thank you for the super chat. Said, what's good, Sanchi? How will our defense stop Mahomes? Dude balled out against the Bucks. Jones need to step up and help Max. Chandler Jones has to step up, man. Let's just be honest. I'll be the first to tell you guys, like, to be 100% honest, right? I'll make videos and I'll back him up and I'll do this and this and that. I'll be 100% honest with you guys, man. I think Raider fans tend to overreact sometimes. I do know that Chandler Jones has not been playing that great. And I'll be the first to admit it that although I back him up on social media, I'll back him up in YouTube videos. He hasn't played all that great, right? You got to get more pressures, more sacks. The guy's like the seventh highest paid defense man. He has to play better, and this is the week that he needs to step up. Now, unfortunately for him, or I should say maybe fortunately, I don't know, right? Some people would say Orlando Brown Jr. is good, but the guy has given up like 5 sacks already this season. And it's probably not 5 exactly, but he's given up a lot of pressures and hits and sacks. So maybe Chandler Jones can beat Orlando Brown a little bit this week. At the same time, Max Crosby will be going up against his old friend, his old college teammate from Eastern Michigan, in Andrew Wiley at the right tackle for the Chiefs. This week's going to be difficult because this Chiefs offensive line, I would rank them as a top 3 or 4 offensive line. I think right after the Eagles, you can make the case that the Chiefs have the second best offensive line. And you can make that case. You can make that argument. So the Raiders defensive line has to get after it. How do you beat Patrick Mahomes? Simple. Pressure the guy. Get after him. And then on the offensive side, we need long, consistent drives. We can't have 3 and outs. If Derek Carr has 3 and outs this week, we're going to lose. Derek Carr needs to pick up 5 first downs again with his legs. Derek Carr needs to make things happen with his pocket awareness, his mobility. He needs to get out of the pocket. And the O-line is going to do what they do, right? The O-line this entire year has done a good job protecting DC. So DC has to just continue it going. Here's the thing with the Chiefs. The Chiefs are going to play 8, 9 guys in the box, and they're going to tell Derek Carr to beat them, right? Because that's what the Chiefs have always done. They've always gotten after Josh Jacobs. They've always said that Derek Carr is going to have to beat us. So this is the week that Derek Carr needs to have 300-plus yards and 3 touchdowns. All right, we can't have no touchdowns out of DC this week because no touchdowns out of DC means we've settled for a couple of field goals, right? So Derek Carr has to get it done, and the defensive line has to get after it. And that's the only way we're going to beat Patrick Mahomes this week. Todd said this means Perryman might enlist Monday. I think Perryman's out. You said this means he's probably out. I think he's out for sure. I don't think Denzel Perryman's going to play. Todd Clement said Diablo to sit and spy Mahomes. And that's the thing, right? Is we're going to have to keep Patrick Mahomes within the pocket. And I think that's going to be a big part of being able to beat Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes isn't the best passer of the football. In fact, Derek Carr may be a better thrower of the football, right? Specifically in terms of ball placement, accuracy, right? Derek Carr may be more accurate. So if you force Patrick Mahomes to sit within the pocket and throw the ball, he's not going to be as good as when he gets out of the pocket, when he climbs the pocket, when he throws a sidearm between a guard and tackle and hits a guy 9 yards downfield, right? On a play where maybe he should have been sacked. We got to keep him within the pocket. And that's not just the defensive ends. The defensive ends are going to have to contain from the outside, but the D tackles in the middle are going to have to pass rush and make sure to get him. Maybe you spy him once in a while with a guy like Diablo or one of the other inside linebackers, but spying generally does not work. That's not a thing in the NFL where you spy a guy. You may use a D tackle to spy. Sometimes you may use like a DN to potentially spy. But generally speaking, you don't, like in Madden, you'll put a guy in spy to contain Lamar Jackson. That's not a real thing in the NFL. Even Lamar Jackson doesn't get spied, right? You pass rush in a way in which the 4 or 5 guys coming just contain him within the pocket. If you take that extra guy out and you pass rush 4 guys and the 5th guy is spying Mahomes, you're gonna lose because you don't have enough guys covering, right? You can't have that many people coming after the quarterback 100% of defensive snaps. You'll get smoked on the back end, right? Plus, Patrick Graham loves to utilize the light box. I think we're going to continue doing that. Of course, it's going to be interesting to see how the Raiders adjust because the Chiefs have a good offensive line. So that's really going to be a big difference, right? I'm excited, man. I wanted to just go live really quickly just to kind of talk about Blake Martinez. Of course, live videos generally go sideways from that, but I think the Blake Martinez pickup's legit. Again, only about 20 minutes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, man. I just wanted to make a quick one real quick. Thumbs up, subscribe if you're not subscribed. I'm going to do a film breakdown for you guys tomorrow. I might go live. So let me know in the comments after this video ends if you guys want to see a live film session. We'll kind of get through it and we'll kind of go through it. We'll break it down O or D, whatever you guys want. So thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time with another video.